Kalalah Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors to the elders of JMS Ruel. Blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity and in honesty throughout the four corners of this earth. With that being said, Shalom Israel Brakta. Today's lesson, the judgment of Babylon the Great. And every major kingdom or empire that has ruled in ancient times has fallen. And when it comes to modern day Babylon the Great, aka America, as we speak, she is no different. And when it comes to modern day Babylon the Great, her inevitable judgment is near. And this is all biblical prophecy. Let's begin in the scripture of Ecclesiastes 3:1, which says the following. Here we have the scripture of Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Everything has a time and a season for either approval or judgment. And when it comes to the daughter of Babylon, which is America, she was allowed to rule for a short period of time, but now judgment is coming upon her for the wicked things done. And when it comes to modern day Babylon the Great's fiery judgment, her appointed time of judgment draws near. There will be a terrible war, World War III, and it shall be nuclear. As the scripture says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. With that being said, let's go over to the scripture of Revelation 17:1, which speaks about the judgment of the great whore. And yes, the Bible does speak that way. Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. The great whore speaks of Babylon the Great, aka America. That's the great whore that the Bible speaks of. That sitteth upon many waters speaks about the peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, according to Revelation 17:15, that sitteth upon many waters. The waters are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues, according to Revelation 17:15. That sitteth upon many waters represents the people or nations of people. Whoever has control of the world reserve currency, that is the great whore that the Bible speaks of. Whoever's in control of that world reserve currency. And when it comes to the dollar, it has been the world's principal reserve currency since the end of World War II. And is the most widely used currency for international trade. That's how you primarily know who the great whore is. The US dollar. But now the US dollar is being devalued. BRICS nations are creating their own. So there's no positive news for that great whore in which the Bible speaks of. Revelation 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, meaning with the governors, the presidents, the prime ministers, and financial ministers. The fornication begins with the economy and policies of America. The inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The wine of philosophy speaks of that democracy, religion, idolatry, homosexuality, same-sex partnership or marriage, lies, adultery, covetousness, and murder that it pushes. All these things are known as the secret counsel of the wicked, according to Psalms 64:2. Babylon the Great is a land of low morals and principles. Revelation 17:3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman is in reference to America. I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Scarlet represents that brilliant red color. That scarlet-colored beast represents Esau or Edom. Scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, represents NATO and the European Union. It represents that Edomite power structure. 7 heads represents the 7 empires of Edom, which is Rome, Greece, Spain, France, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and Britain. And out of Britain came the 8th head, which is America. The 10 horns represents the European Union. And there shall come a time when America's allies shall betray her. Revelation 17:4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. The color purple represents that rulership, and those precious stones represents that royalty and wealth. The abomination, man with man and woman with woman relations. That's the abomination. That's part of it. It's a big part of it. Even the socialist school system of teachers push that foul agenda onto your children. That's not how you make a race strong. You're actually diminishing a race when you do that. Especially your own. That abomination alone is one of the major reasons why Babylon the Great enters into the judgment of destruction. Having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Yeah, that golden cup full of that do as you will spirit. That's why the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, is bringing judgment upon her. It is the Lord that runs the show. And it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, the Creator, and His Son. Revelation 17:5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Babylon the Great might be a mystery to 2 parts of the nation of Israel, but it's not a mystery to the hopeful elect out of the house of David. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, is in reference to America and its abominations. And you know that the city of confusion is broken down. With that being said, let's go over to that scripture of Isaiah 24:10. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. The city of confusion represents Babylon the Great, which is modern day America, aka Egypt, is also known as Egypt, Basra, Idumea, etc. And Idumea is a Greek word for Edom. But even the band Genesis lets you know that the land of confusion is America. The Land of Confusion is a famous rock song written by the band Genesis for their 1986 album Invisible Touch. So even these rock stars let you know who that city of confusion is, the land of confusion, America. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Esau Edom's downfall began in 1969 to 1970. As soon as he set up the nest among the stars, which is that International Space Station, the ISS. But modern day Babylon the Great is no longer a country of amusement and express laughter. It's circling down the drain due to its abominations and fornication. The nations are being put out little by little. According to the scripture of Deuteronomy 7:22, especially when it comes to modern day Babylon the Great, the joyful mirth of the land is gone. That's why this guy was saying that he was going into a restaurant in the States and it was empty and that the restaurants were having problems. Modern day Babylon the Great, which is America, is now entering and heading into an inevitable judgment of prophecy. Once that CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16 takes place, all hell shall break loose. But this is the will of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to make her a desolation without inhabitants. Let's go over to Jeremiah 51 and 29. Let's begin at Jeremiah 51 and 28, and then we'll work down to 29. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And according to the scripture of Jeremiah 50 and verse 9, the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, will cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And if you see Russia today, Russia is in the north country. And on that day, the nations shall be stirred up with the kings of the Medes. The kings of the Medes are the Russians. Jeremiah 51 and verse 29. And the land shall tremble and sorrow. How will it tremble and sorrow? With the strikes of the nuclear weapons hitting their strategic targets. That will cause the great earthquake and that great and that lake of fire. That's Babylon the Great burning. Babylon the Great burning. And the land shall tremble and sorrow for every purpose of the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall be performed against Babylon to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. And there you have it. The Lord's purpose is to remove modern day Babylon from among her power via the destructive arrows of these nations. You see? And we are giving you warning of what's to come. Giving you warning of that evil MOTB CHIP that is to come, followed up by that great war of Armageddon, But whoever receives the MOTB in any part of the body, in the right hand or forehead, shall receive the overall wrath of the Lord Yahweh Yahushai, and shall be destroyed. Do not take it. First cometh the MOTB of deception, and then cometh World War III quickly, as it says in the scripture of Revelation 11 and 14. But with that being said, Kalalah Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak, Wadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS Ruwell. Blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akimater in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity and in honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah.